I think this is a great opponent for me to really showcase everything that I've been working on and really turn my career at flyweight around. And I'm looking to put on a show for everybody at the Boeing Center on Friday night.
Hello, everyone. Christopher De Santiago with MMA Allender. Today, we're talking to the Pikey King himself, Paddy Ferguson, ahead of Fury FC 93 in San Antonio, Texas. Paddy, how's it going today?
Pretty good. Just got back from a run, as you can see, before the hurricane hits us. Feeling good. Did 5 miles fight week, which is pretty good.
Awesome, man. I believe this is your first fight of 2024. How have you been spending your time in and outside of the training room?
I'm constantly in the gym. My teammates are got fights all over. I went to ADCC Amsterdam back in March. I'm always trying to, stay active. If the fights aren't there, then I'll get grappling matches. Whatever I can get into. I just, I have a love for competition. I don't really have, it doesn't have to be MMA. I just love competing. So I'm always, 365, looking for a competition or in the gym.
Hmm. Is Daniel Gonzales still your opponent for Friday?
Yes, sir. I haven't heard anything other, but you know how the fight game is. I know Danny just stepped in on 6 hours notice last weekend, 2 weekends ago. That's insane, but I'm sure they compensated him pretty healthily for that.
Hmm. I believe it was your first or second fight you stepped in on short notice. What's the shortest notice fight you've ever taken in your career thus far?
3 days.
3 days? Wow. What
Yeah.
comes with that decision to make it on 3 days notice? Like, what goes through your head?
It's primarily it's like, can I make the weight? If I can make the weight, then I'm good to go. I'm a gamer. I grew up wrestling. I the all the wrestling tournaments. I didn't really care who was in my bracket, this, that, and the other. You have to compete to win. And I mean, for me, it's just the love of the competition. If I can make the weight, and my body can cooperate with me, I'll step into that cage. As far as record goes, I'm not too concerned. I'm not obviously not gonna try to pad my record, and I have in any of my fights. But if my body can do it and it makes sense, I'll go ahead and step in regardless of the time frame.
And it looks like you've been putting in the work, as we can see with the weight cut, man. How long has this training camp been for you? And has this been at Ohana or is it a different gym?
Uh, this one was at Unity Training Center with Ray Rodriguez. He just finished up his UFC career, a couple of years ago. Out in Elmendorf, which is a little bit south of San Antonio. It's been about 8 weeks. All the uh, camps standard 8 weeks, but the only thing that changes between camp and my day to day is adding in a strength and conditioning every 2 3 weeks, and then doing 2 day practices every day. Other than that, nothing really changes as far as camp, non-camp. In this game, the opportunities come around so few that you can't sit on the couch kind of wait, and you kind of always got to stay ready, and that's kind of been my mindset since the beginning.
Hmm. Your next opponent, Daniel Gonzalez, I believe he's had 4 fights. What do you know about him, and how do you see this fight playing out on Friday?
I think he's a jits guy. I don't. I've trained with world class grapplers up at B Team, up at with Andy Gomez at Syndicate, and Dimitri Ivy. I've their grappling is worldly, top tier, world class. So I'm not really afraid to go to the ground with him. And as far as on the feet goes, again, me inside the pocket, my hands are just a little. I think they're just a little bit too powerful for him, and he's gonna feel that, and he's gonna start shooting, or he's just gonna let me do whatever I want on the ground.
Hmm. Coming off those last 2 fights, man, I mean, you've had a lot of time to really grow and evolve. What parts of your game do you feel like you've made the greatest strides in coming into this fight?
I think my greatest strides have been my striking and my confidence as a fighter. My confidence to
Fighter just being so well rounded all around. I've struck with guys that can knock people out pretty quickly. I've grappled with top tier guys, so I don't have that sense of urgency to get where I'm comfortable anymore. I have kind of the patience to allow the fight to develop and kind of seek the path of least resistance. In order for me to get the win.
Mhm. I believe we were talking about, you getting out tickets for your friends and family to watch in San Antonio, and your fans, obviously. What's it like to fight in San Antonio of all places? Once again, here at Fury FC 93.
I like fighting in San Antonio. I think this one's at the Boeing Center, so it's not going to be Cowboys Dance Hall. So hopefully, incidences like my last fight at Cowboys Dance Hall doesn't happen. But um, it is what it is. I enjoy fighting in my adopted city of San Antonio, and I have a lot of friends here, a lot of people that love to see me fight. I'm the designated, token white boy at the gym, so they love watching the Güero fucking throw manos.
Nice, man, nice. And what's the Pikey King gonna walk out to on Friday night? What's your walkout song?
I'm probably thinking something, that Andrew Tate entrance music. I think
Oh,
that's
his
just
theme song.
funny. I think it's just funny, that whole uh Andrew Tate movement. I think people that buy into it are they're young men looking for a purpose and cause. Well, good on them. Hope they find it, but I don't agree with everything he says, which is kind of crazy. But it's fun to troll. I like to troll people, so why not?
Hmm. What do you think a win over Daniel Gonzales does for you and your career moving forward? And how do you like kind of plan the rest of your 2024 after this? Any goals in mind?
As far as my, right now with my short notice fights that I have taken up a weight class, I kind of put my record upside down. Which if you look at the flyweight wins that I have, even my losses, they're respectable. All top 10 guys in their states. So, uh, you know, I mean, but with that being said, I understand this is a business. It's hard to market a guy that's got an upside down record. So, I'm going to continue to grind. I would love to get, two or three more fights before the end of the year, whether that be at 25 or 35. I know Eric's got some flyweights fighting in Dallas and Houston here coming up shortly,
I'll
and
be there.
one of the benefits of having an upside down record is, people just look me up at Tapology and don't, do any more homework outside of that, and they say, "Yep, we'll take the fight," and I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."
Hmm. Do you have any friends fighting on this card? It's a big card, littered with, some of Texas' best fighters. Is there any friends of yours fighting on this card?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Zach is one of my training partners. He's obviously a little bit bigger. He's going to be, I think, co-main eventing this fight. I think he's looking to again, he's another guy that's like right on the precipice of being in the UFC. I think he's got all the skill set. It's just finding those matchups to have getting that record, because that's all people care about. Same thing with the Eddie Frye. That dude has some of the craziest knockouts you will ever see in flyweight, if not the craziest flyweight knockouts you'll ever see. And yet he just runs into these killers after and it's tough. But I'm really looking to see what Eddie's going to be doing, and as well as Zach on this fight card. Other than that, I think I was supposed to have half the fight card was basically be my teammates, but due to injuries and other situations like that, unfortunately they had to pull out. But again, that's a fight game. It's a dirty business.
Awesome. Well, Patty, I think that's all the questions I had for you. I just want to thank you again for making time for me on Fight Week. I'll be there on Friday uh, in San Antonio. Do you have any messages you would like to send to the fans before your fight on Friday?
No, not really. I'm just looking for really good night, really good showing. I think this is a great opponent for me to really showcase everything that I've been working on, and really turn my career at flyweight around. And I'm looking to put on a show for everybody at the Boeing Center on Friday night.